YouTube. Welcome y'all, come on in, welcome. We about to get this final episode off the ground. Right now I go by the name of DJ Logic, aka Logisticalstyles, putting on this mobile music production and DJing workshop, which is being brought to you by Fulton County Arts and Culture. Thank y'all for tuning in. We are going to get started very shortly. Just doing a couple of quick behind the scenes tasks to get this properly put out for everybody to tune in. What you hear playing in the background is one of the songs I put together over the past couple of weeks as I've been showing y'all how to use these apps. Let's do a quick switch over. There we go. What's going on, YouTube? Everybody out there. So what you're hearing in the background is one of the beats that I put together over the course of this workshop. I have a couple of other ones as well, and I'm going to put together a mix and upload it to my SoundCloud, so you can all check that out. So just trying to give as much of a takeaway from this workshop as you can, so you can hear some of the beats that were made on the iPad or iPhone, and you can refer back to these videos to kind of see what I did. And if you got any questions, always remember you can hit me up on email, djlogic26@hotmail.com, or you can hit me up on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all under the name Logisticalstyles. So if you got any questions, something I talked about in this episode or a previous episode, just hit me up, and I'll gladly go over that with you and show you, what I was talking about. So let's see, make sure everything is looking good, sounding good. Let's get into some of the stuff that I've been working on. We've got about an hour to get together and do this. This is the last workshop. This is not going to be the last live stream that I do. This is not going to be the last video that I upload. This is just this particular series that was put on by the Fulton County Board of Commissioners, Fulton County Arts and Culture Department. They gave us a grant to be able to reach out to the community to show different ways that you could still be creative. It's really for artists that have been affected by COVID. We've lost some work due to this, but the county has stepped up. The Board of Commissioners have created this grant for us to be able to still push forward and give out our talent, our art, or whatever, to the community. And big shout out to them for making this happen. So let's jump into, do a quick review. Jump back over here to the iPad. So over the course of the past 3 weeks, now this is the 4th week, we've been going over my favorite music production apps that I use on my iOS devices to make music or create music and beats. And I use these beats in different applications. Sometimes I'm just putting them out. I license music to be used in TV shows and other forms of media. Then sometimes I'm making my own media, and I'm putting out videos, drone videos with different footage and stuff like that. So it's very helpful for you to be able to create your own audio, especially if you're putting out media. You need to have audio and video, and to get around the problems of copyright, this is why I originally got into making my own music. So the apps that we were using were LaunchPad and Bloxwave. Bloxwave is kind of the foundation of where you can put together a beat and put together some sounds, and then you can take that project and dump it into LaunchPad. And LaunchPad is the app that's up top. This is the one that this is the one that I use to actually put together beats a little bit more, and we'll get into some screenshots. We'll actually get into the app shortly. Another app that we were using was iMPC Pro, and this is an app that replicates the hardware of the MPC. If you're familiar with that device, then this is a great app that you can put on your iPad or iPhone, and it will allow you to be able to have that same experience as if you were making beats on an MPC. It's the same workflow. The The third one that we touched on, we didn't really have a lot of time to get into it. I opened it up a couple of times, and I might do it even during this workshop, was Roland Zen Beats. This is a pretty dope app. It allows you to stack different loops. It allows you to make beats in a lot of different ways. With, if I go back here to LaunchPad, LaunchPad is basically you just stacking loops and maybe adjusting and altering them and doing some stuff to give it your own little twist. But when you go into, like, compare it to iMPC Pro, you are banging out sounds and putting them together to make a beat versus stacking loops. I mean, you can load different loops and different samples into iMPC Pro, but it's definitely a different workflow and different experience than LaunchPad. But when you go to Zen Beats by Roland, they kind of combine all that together in addition to the interface that a lot of people are familiar with if they use like programs like Fruity Loops or maybe even Ableton or some other programs where you can pick out your different blocks and make different patterns. So that's what Roland Zen Beats is very, that's where it kind of shines, because it does not just one thing. There's a couple of different workflows that you can use or apply to this app to make beats. It's really dope. I just found out about it right before we started this workshop, so I didn't have a lot of experience on it, so we jumped into it just a little bit. Maybe I'll open up a little bit later before this is over. But after these beat making apps, we jumped into the DJing apps. The DJing apps that we were using, DJ Player Professional, that's a free app that you can get. You can get it from the App Store. All these apps you can get from the App Store. And also, I guess I should have mentioned this really from the beginning. None of these apps are paying me to recommend them. This is just stuff that I actually use on a regular basis to make beats. And this is the apps that I found, you know, I'm really good with, so these are the ones I was pushing. But I'm not getting compensated to promote any of these apps. Some are free, some have an upfront cost, and others are free, but there's a lot of in-app purchases. Actually, all of them have in-app purchases, because you're gonna want to buy sound packs and get different sounds and effects and other features within the app that you open up by purchasing. And it can go anywhere from a 99-cent purchase up to maybe a $10 or a $15 sound pack. It just really depends on the creator of it and what they charge you for it. But getting back to the DJ apps, we have DJ Player Professional. This is a free app. It does really well for, you know, the purpose of mixing from song A to song B. There's not a whole lot of bells and whistles to it that I've really gotten into. I've always been more of a fan of Tractor DJ, the app on the iPad. I don't really use Tractor Pro on the computer. I gave it about a year and tried it and didn't really click with it, but the app is a bit different and it works really well for mixing music on the iPad. So I definitely recommend Tractor DJ as an app. It's something that you should look into if you want to be able to mix music from your iPad. And what's cool about this is you can use this like as a DJ. If you're doing mobile DJ work, you can use this for your ceremony system. So if you're going and you're doing a wedding ceremony that's like in the garden, and you got your reception set up in the main banquet hall, you can have all your main equipment set up there, and then you can have this with a powered speaker, kind of like the Harbinger that I reviewed on my web channel, on this YouTube channel, probably about a year ago. You can just use this iPad and a powered speaker, or even the Bluetooth speaker or whatever. I wouldn't use Bluetooth but for a wedding, but you can use these together to have a really decent ceremony system, because this can pull up all your playlists with Tractor DJ, and really any of these apps. So you can create your playlist and you can mix and even do some effects and transitions within the app for those small, short situations where you would need something like this, like a wedding ceremony or a cocktail hour or something like that. And you can even put them on autoplay as well. Now, the other app that I came across was DJ Pro 2. And this is the DJing app that really opens up what you can do as far as DJing on an iPad. I really, really like this. It is, if you look at the screenshot that I have here, it says that it's $49.99. That's the price that you would pay if you wanted to put it on your laptop or your Mac or whatever. But if you want to get it on your iPad or your iPhone, it's free for you to download, and then there's a lot of stuff you can purchase within the app. You can open up the Pro version for I think $5.99 a month, and it allows you to do everything that this app is capable of, which includes stuff like removing vocals, removing instrumentals, removing both, or some combination of that, different effects. I think it does some video mixing as well. A lot of things that this app can do, DJ Pro 2. So if you are serious about trying to do some DJing with this iPad and you are trying to get away from the laptop, this is the app that you would really want to consider. Although I would say, you know, I think I prefer DJing with a laptop to the side. It has a little bit more power. And it's a novelty to be able to DJ on your iPad, but some people are really able to get their systems in place. Like I'm using this is a 6th generation iPad. This is basically a very generic, not generic, but a very general purpose iPad. But some people are using iPad Pros, and those have way better processors, and even the new iPad Air that came out has a much better processor, so you could probably really push the limits with these DJing apps. But we're just gonna go over some real general basic stuff, and we've been going over that, I should say, so now today is just gonna be me. I'm probably for the next 45 minutes or so just gonna be flowing through some beats and mixing them together. So we're gonna jump in and out of all the apps together at some point. We're gonna do it all. So let's pull it all up. Let's start with, I got my DJ player. I think I want to go with, first we're gonna start in LaunchPad, because I got some recordings here in LaunchPad that I can bring up. Well, actually, we're gonna start not even recordings. We're gonna go into some projects. So let me give you a view of the iPad screen. So here we are in LaunchPad. I have a sound pack called Viral Hip Hop loaded right now, and I've played with this pack a lot, so it's not really very interesting to me. So what I think I'm gonna do, I'm gonna maybe click over here, let's see, go to the store and see if we can find ourselves a sound pack. Hey, well, there's Neo Soul. I already own that. And what's cool about this is the store. So you can see what sound packs you already own and what packs are new, and definitely what packs are for sale. They put those up pretty high up in the list, so they can try to move some stuff. And everything I've been doing for the past couple of weeks have really been hip hop kind of oriented. So I think I'm going to try to do something that's a little bit more dancey. EDM maybe. And yes, they do give you some sound packs that are free, so you don't always have to just spend money, although the ones that are free, it's kind of a you get what you pay for situation. So let's see. And then the reason I'm going through this, I want you to be able to see what is the process for, ooh, they got some reggae, what the process is for getting sounds into this and how easy it is to come up with a beat. So I'm going to pull up this universal reggae. I thought I was going to do some dance stuff, but I think I like this reggae. 90 BPM. It tells you beforehand, you know, what speed you're going to be working with, what the key is of the songs or the loops that you're going to be using. Gives you a description of them. It's very sales pitchy, I guess. They try to, you know, make it seem like this is going to be the greatest reggae pack ever. You know, this is universal reggae, puts together some of the favorite sounds of the genre. Classic instrumentation with extensive vocals and a whole lot of chill. So it really makes you want to go ahead and hit that download. Even though they also give you some recommendations for similar soundtracks. But I think we're going to stay with the apps, the ones that I'm looking at. already, this universal reggae. But while I'm looking at this, let's go down here real quick. All of the sound packs that you get, for the most part, are gonna be royalty free. Everything is royalty free except for the sound packs that are from the artist series. And this applies to LaunchPad and I believe all of the Amplify apps, because they pretty much use the same sound packs. So if you see an artist series listed under a sound pack, those are ones that where it's just something for you to play around with, get some ideas with. You cannot use those in your productions or whatever. They're kind of locked down due to copyright. And this one right here that you're looking at, and I'm trying to highlight, is this Congo Natty Ja Warriors. You see below it, it's an artist series. So those are the ones you kind of want to steer clear of. I don't want to say steer clear of them, because you want to use them, hear them, see what the artist is putting out and sharing. But just understand that you cannot use those in your productions or anything that you want to put out. You'll get hit with a copyright or whatever. But the other ones, even like this Rafferty Build Me Up, that's an artist series. You can't use those for your own productions. But these other ones are open season. You can go ahead and do something with that if you want. So I'm gonna hit buy on this universal reggae. It's probably gonna ask me for my thumbprint, just so I can go ahead and do that. Process the payment, done. So now the purchase was successful. It's gonna download the beat for me, or that sound pack for me. And if I go back here, let's see. Let's get out of the store. Let's go, not this, not this. All right, it is this one with the house. So go to my sound packs. I was in the store. That's why it was giving me that issue. So if I go to sound packs, here's universal reggae. Pull it up. It's gonna give me these sounds. And the first thing I usually do when I get a bunch of sounds like this is I go ahead and just start playing them all together as a row, so I can kind of get a feel of where we're going, and then I start mixing and matching. So let's go here. Let's see what we got.
All over the world, this show a celebration, y'all. Wow! Yes.
All right. We got some vocals in this one as well. So let's stop real quick so we can go over what.
Yes.
All right. So first 2 rows of the green circles, these are your drum beats. So you got different kind of drums. Each column you can only play at once. So if I play this and I want to play that top one stops and the next one plays. Same thing here. So, and it goes that way for every row. So now you can play different, I should say columns, because going across is the rows, I think. Columns. So with these columns, you can play one from each column and mix and match. The blue ones, those are bass lines. See, so as I'm switching to different blue ones, the bass line changes. And you'll notice that it changes on beat. So even if I just hit it there, it's not gonna switch over until it's on the downbeat. So let's go over to these magenta ones. These are your melodies. These are melodic. It's all some kind of melody. It may be a guitar, it may be an organ, it may be a flute, a synthesizer. You get a lot of random stuff and you just go through them. Then you have these teal ones. These are vocals. And these are kind of interesting because sometimes when I'm making beats, I really want to hear what the beat sounds like, you know, with somebody on it. So it's cool that you can actually get sound packs of people's vocals. So this one's actually a kind of a long one.
Yes, all of the people that love reggae music all over the world. This year want a celebration.
That's probably going to be about,
wow, cause we love it, so we go.
Good 4, I don't know,
Yes,
4 or 8 bar
all of the
loop
people
right
that
there.
love
but it goes well with the music. As you
Yes,
heard.
all of the people that love reggae music all over the world.
Now we can start mixing and matching. So, well, let's look at some more. Let's listen to some more.
I love reggae music. I'm just a live for reggae music. Anytime it play, me love it all the while. But when from me was a little child, I waited for the remember reggae music full of color. You I truly love, I miss it, oh no, not another. Stay every second and every minute of every hour. You want me medicine, you're making everything much better. When my listen back from me was just a little boy. Me know this love was true, me not gonna take it for your toy. Emotional vibration, it captured in a sound.
Alright, so those are all the main parts. These other last two columns, those are effects. And you'll notice that some of them say SFX, sound effects, and then other ones just say effects. Basically, they're all just like little accents for you can add to your song. Ad-libs. So the ones that are teal, those are vocal ad-libs, and then these orange ones, those are actually like your air horns, sirens, laser shots, all that. But let's go ahead, let's do a quick recording. This is, let's look at the tempo. This is a 90 BPM. I'm gonna knock it up to about 93. Let's go ahead, hit record, and it will start recording when I hit my first loops. So let's go with those two. Bring in some bass. And this is like some real generic reggae. You know what I'm saying? If I wanted to dig a little deeper, I could find some more authentic sequences. But this is, we're gonna go with this. Maybe let's try another. See, I kind of like that. I like that dirty bass. Let's bring in, let's try this. A lot of times this is very random. You just, because I mean, I try to remember what some of these sounds are just by the name of them, but a lot of times it's like, all right, let me try something different, switch it up. Let's bring in some sound effects. Switch up the drums. A lot of switch ups make the song seem more interesting, so that's why I kind of like to keep just jumping through different loops to get them going. As I'm trying to end the song, I usually just start pulling stuff out. The beat starts getting more and more naked. And then we just end it. So that, what I recorded immediately jumps into a list of recordings. If you'll notice, the section with the tab at the top left with the 3 dots, that red circle above it jumped from 1 to 2, because that means I now have 2 new recordings that I could listen to. The first one was well, from the top of the list is the last one I did, but right below it was, I guess, a mess up I had that was like a 10-second recording. But if we go to this top one, I can listen. There we go. That's what I just recorded. So now I can do share. I can share the audio. And normally I do this from another phone, but I'm gonna see if this is gonna let me share to another app. And it does. It lets me share it to DJ. And it gave me that suggestion because this is a music file. So it's like, hey, let's load that music file onto one of those decks. So let me jump out of here. Get out of LaunchPad. Go done. Tell it to stop playing. We'll jump into DJ. And let's see if it'll let us play. There you have it, just that quickly. I made a beat in LaunchPad and I was able to share it and dump it right over to DJ Pro, and I have it right there on my deck. We'll be able to spin with. Let's see, I can go back here, get it queued up right there, hit that to get to my cue points. There we go. And you got all the information you need to know about this song right here up in front of you. I got the name up top. That's the name. The key of the song. How long has elapsed. How long is left. I could probably go in there and tag the artist if I wanted to, but I'd probably do that in iTunes. I can go into here. Play around with my EQ, filter it. We can jump into effects. Right now I have a high pass echo, low pass. Bring it up. All that is from me just touching and dragging my finger across the effects section. Let's see what else we got. Let's see, echo, let's go to flanger. All right, let's get out of that by hitting that little circle again. My cue point right here, this arrow, that brings me back to my first cue point. This song is getting ready to end. Let's go here into the library and see what else we can pull up. Let's go to history. The thing I don't like about this is a lot of beats, a lot of stuff that I airdrop or throw to this app. If you close the app and open it up again, it goes away. You have to reinstall it unless the song is saved onto the app in a different way. So let me go here, let me load this Enigma beat. This Enigma beat is 96 BPM. The Universal Reggae joint is 93. So what I can do is, I can use my pitch slider to bring it down to match it up. You know, get it right there. Or I can just hit sync and then it just knocks it to where it's supposed to be. Now I can play around with the pitch slider on iPad. Let's see. Let's jump into here to see if I do have some cue points. All right. Let's jump right here. So now I got both songs playing. This side, this Enigma beat, it's just a drum beat. It's going to build up a little bit more. And then on this side, I've got the reggae beat going. So I'm going to put the crossfader dead in the middle. Let me blow up the got this beat switching up a little bit. Reggae beat is actually getting ready to end. So let me jump into here, throw some effects on it to get out of here. We'll do like a echo. Yeah. Bring my crossfader over there. Now here's something I'm gonna do. Split real quick. So what I'm gonna do real quick, because the beats that I originally had loaded up are gone from the app. I'm basically looking for my cell phone. Because what I could do, oh, here we go. So what I can do is pull up my phone right here, pull up the LaunchPad app. I've got some recordings that have already been created. So what I'm gonna do is, I don't have the overhead camera set up this week, so you really can't see, but basically I am going to open up LaunchPad on my phone, just like I would have on my iPad, and I'm going to go into one of these recordings that I made earlier. I'm gonna share it, just like I shared it from the iPad just a little while ago, share the audio. I'm going to choose my iPad to drop it to airdrop, and I'm going to open it on, let me switch over here. Now that I've airdropped it to the iPad, I can open it on DJ, and it is going to throw it onto the other turntable, this one right here. So let's see, let's go and see, hold on. That song was ending, so I had to bring it back. Let's go into here, let's look at if there's any cue points. There are cue points on here, so I'm just gonna just syncing them up, and then crossfader in the middle. And whenever I'm ready, I can just bring it in like this. And like I mentioned earlier, when you're using an iPad, it kind of comes in handy for you to be able to have that sync, because you don't have as many fingers to play around with. Let me do something like this. Switched over. To that beat, and then I'm going to bring in another beat. Keep going on beats. Audio. Choose the iPad. iPad's asking me where to go. Put it on DJ. And voila, this deck has this new song loaded up. I'm going to try to check out the cue points that have been set up. Nothing yet. So what you heard just happening was the iPad losing sync of the two beats matched up, and the reason I believe is because if you look at the funk hop beat, the BPM on that, I've got that pitch knocked down to -7, and the jazz beat, it's actually playing at +9.3. So these are really, really stretching a big difference to make it happen. And it's just not, it's really not happening. So if I turn the sync off on these, let's see, and put these at their 0 point. One beat is 85 BPM and the other beat is 100 BPM. The iPad was trying to do a time stretch, or even like a, I guess if you were using like Serato, it would be like your pitch and time, or your key lock is the word I'm looking for. It was trying to do a key lock and keeping those two beats together, but the range and the speed was just way too big. I mean, if I was doing this on my decks, I'd probably be using the plus 50% range to make that mix happen. So if I chose a beat that was probably a little more in line with the speed, let's see what we got. Let's go to Hip Hop Vitality. I will share this one, share the audio to my iPad. We will put it on DJ, put it on one of those decks. Let's see. And this is one cool thing I like about the DJ app. You can actually bang out beats, kind of live drumming, finger drumming. This is something I did earlier. I put the cue point on the kick and then the clap. That's just a duplicate of the original kick, but you can go. So there you go. You got beats going that I just threw over from my iPhone. I airdropped it onto that deck. Move the crossfader over so we're stuck on there. We got that deck going. And if I was to find another beat, just one more beat so I can throw one here, and I'll just give you another quick example of some mix beats were made with the same sound pack, just so that's why I said one's a remix of the other one. They use similar sounds, but as you can see, I've got both decks going. If I want to, I'll go backspin out of that, let that one go. Drop, hit that cue point there. Very responsive. That's what I like about the app. Even using the touchscreen on the iPad, you can pull off certain little tricks. You just got to be really in the mind of what you're doing, thinking about it. Jump over here, get my effects going. Over there. Let's see. And when you're searching through your songs, you do have the option to look at your BPM, so you don't mess up as much. You can kind of get an idea where you are supposed to be. I like to jump over here always to see if I have cue points. That's the one thing I don't like about this app is you do have to jump in and out of different menus to be able to get certain information. I like to load a track and already see my cue points right away. With this, I'm having to load the track, then go into that menu, and if I don't have this menu already selected, I'd have to go through different menus to pull up to see what my cue points are like. So what I just did there, I hit that sync real quick just to get the BPM matched up while I was finger drumming with the pads. So I hit that sync to get the BPM lined up while I was finger drumming, and then I hit the first cue point, which is on the 1, held it down, hit the play button so it can take over and I can release it, and everything is still right there on point. Jump on this deck right here, and I can play with my filter. Switch over to that deck. Bring my filter back. Turn that off. I'm just looking at my decks right now. And remember, this is one of many other views that you have. If I click up here, I get the option to go away from just using the classic to where I might want to use the 2-deck view. And the 2-deck view gives me, I still have my spinning decks, just less information on them, but I'm looking more at the waveform. And that allows me to it actually gives me access to a little bit more information using this screen, because now I still have my pitch controls up here. I still have access to my libraries up here, and let's see, I can go through. Gives me access to my playlists. The only reason I can't go through these playlists right now is because they are iTunes playlists and those songs are in the cloud. And when you're using this app, you cannot play songs that are in the cloud. That is one limitation with this. If you got to have your music directly on the device that you're trying to mix with. So even with me airdropping, that's only like a temporary save onto the iPad, because once I close this app out and reopen it, it will show that I played a song named Hip Hop Vitality. If I go into the history or whatever, let me go back to my classic. So if I were to go in here and go into history, you'll see those, but they'll be grayed out like this one, Jazz, like I'm trying to open it. Even though I airdropped it to this app earlier in the day. I've restarted the app a couple of times, so the song itself isn't there. It just remembers that I played that song, and until I download it again, I won't be able to play it. So keep that in mind if you're using these apps. Now, there are some exceptions, because if you go into your choice of where you're choosing your music from, you can play from your Tidal or your SoundCloud account, even Beatport or BeatSource. There used to be Spotify, but Spotify stopped that about a month or two ago. They stopped allowing streaming of their music on DJ apps. So that's why you have this little information sign now to it, and you get this note. As of July 1st, 2020, Spotify is no longer playable through third-party DJ apps. People think that it means that Spotify is going to come up with its own app for you to be able to DJ with using the music on the service, but I don't think that's actually happened yet, so it's all speculation for right now. But just take note, you can no longer use Spotify as a streaming source or a music source on this app. But you can use the other sources. Let's get out of here. You can use Tidal. If you have a Tidal account, you can log in and you can play music from there. If you have a SoundCloud account, same thing for there. Let's see. Yeah, you can get to all these songs from SoundCloud. I wonder if they'll let you play. It's a featured song, so it's actually letting me load this right here from SoundCloud onto the deck. I've never heard this. It's my first time doing this. Not bad. This is Running Circles by an artist named Native. I was wondering what the heck was going on. You'll notice that the pitch is all the way down to like -25. Let's bring this up to the right size, the right speed. So this is like a 120 BPM song. Let's play this. So let's try it. Let's play around with it. So on this deck, let's find another similar song.
Make up your mind before
I wonder if they give you points.
This chaos, though somehow we call it love, call it love. But tell me if it's over and done. Lately I can't keep up.
See, this is really cool. This is the future of DJing, like with tablets and phones. I'm finding music right now on SoundCloud, and I'm loading them up onto my app to be able to mix them. I could be doing this over a louder sound system or a party or somewhere like that, but this is really dope. You can do this now, and I haven't paid for anything. Well, I'll take that back. I do have the subscription, which allows me to do some other features in the app, but the SoundCloud, that is available through the free basic app. So you can pull up music, mix it. Now, a big question is going to be, how is YouTube going to handle me mixing this music, because this isn't my original music. But hopefully, because I'm talking over it and I'm mixing stuff and, you know, doing stuff like that, that it won't flag this video for playing copywritten music. But yeah, that's pretty cool. So you can go into your SoundCloud account and you can pull up music. You can switch to your Tidal account if you have Tidal. If you use Beatport, it gives you some demo tracks. You can even mess with demo tracks. Go in here, pull up a demo track. Let's try Release. Let's try a demo track called Subtracks. Let's see if they have cue points set up. Nope. So pull the crossfade over there. Let's see. Let that play. Got that going. This deck right here is playing. We're doing demo tracks within the DJ Pro app. So let's go hit this, see if there's no cue point. So set a cue point. I always set a cue point on the downbeat of the 1 so I can at least be able to bring the song in quickly. So I'll pull my crossfader over and you can hit didn't hit sync, so there you can see the BPMs are a little bit off. There's about a difference of 2 between the BPMs. One's 123, one's 125. So you just slide that down. It's a little bit harder when you don't have a sync on, I will say that, because you have to really be right on. So got them going. Both songs going. Sounds good. Let's hit some effects. Let's try something different. Let's do a tremolizer. Kind of a weird effect, but you can try different other ones. And I see they have them separated by creator of the effect. So this one is Sugar Bites Juggle. This very odd. Let's try a looper. It's almost like a delay or echo. I like going into filters, your EQ, your effects, there's even looping. That's a loop I did right there. I looped it. We can make an 8-bar loop. So yeah, you can jump back and forth between those, and notice because this wasn't in sync as I was making and adjusting these loops or whatever, things did go off from the syncing of or the tempo of the other deck. So you gotta keep that in mind. Now, one thing I will say is initially I really planned on having, there is some hardware that you can use. You can get that camera kit that I showed you last week that allows you to connect other USB devices. Let's jump back here. So if you have this device right here, this allows you to connect a USB class compliant device to your iPad. And some of the things you can attach are MIDI controllers and other DJ controllers. And the one I was looking or intending to get for this week's episode to kind of end off with a big bang was the Numark DJ to go. And the new one that they released, it's not even new, it's about a year old now, but they released it and it has touch sensitive platters. So you can do your little scratching just like I do with these bigger decks. You can do with that all on the iPad, and it would connect to the iPad using this device or this adapter. And DJ Pro specifically will work with that DJ to go controller from Numark, and it's a really cool controller. It goes for probably about, I think, $70-$80, and it fits in your backpack. It can fit, if you can fit your iPad there, you can probably fit the DJ controller. It fits, it's the same size as a laptop. The bottom of your laptop where your trackpad is, it could fit right there. But it would allow you to have more hands-on control instead of using the touchscreen. The touchscreen is cool, but it does, it's different. It's not the same as touching a jog wheel, whether it's a 12-inch jog wheel or a little 2-inch jog wheel on the DJ to go. It's just a little bit different, so that's why I would prefer to have that over this screen, which just gives you, a lot of information, but the touch is just, it takes some getting used to, especially if you're coming from hardware. So that's why I do like this app, because it does allow you to do a lot of different kind of DJing. If you are a mixer, if you want to scratch, you can scratch with this if you have the app, or not the app, but the hardware to connect to the app. Because even with this, you see I can do some scratching, but it's crazy because I'm using it on the screen, so I don't have the exactness with the precise touch with the scratching. But it's enough to have fun with. But if you get that hardware interface, then you can actually really spin it back and scratch with a crossfader. So I really recommend you look into that if you want to seriously do some DJing with your iPad. It helps to have some hardware to attach to your app. So with that said, let's move on to another app that I was showcasing and touching on, and that was the DJ or Tractor DJ app. And let's see, pull that up. Well, let me grab it right here, pull up the iPad, go to my DJ apps. Let me show you my iPad screen. Tractor DJ, touch the groove, that's their logo. Now the difference, or big difference, between this app and the DJ Pro app is the fact that you're kind of just limited to the music that's on your iPad. So that's really on your iPad physically there. These are some songs that I downloaded the other day, or the other week, just to have on here to play around with. But I know if I played these in the video, I would definitely get flagged because it's just commercial stuff. Let's see. Yeah, you can go through your playlist. You can go through by genre. Same thing as with the other DJ Pro app. You have to have the music on here. Otherwise, you'll just see the playlist. If you go into the playlist, they'll be empty. Versus the other app, it would show you grayed out songs that you just can't touch. This just doesn't even show you the songs at all. But if I was to pull up a song, let's see, I could go to tap in, put tap in there, load it up. It's up there. And I could, let's see, we got flags. Yep, you gotta put your flag in there. Let's put one on here. Hit play.
Don't never stop if you wanna be on top. Be on top, yeah.
Baby,
So you can
tap in.
You can spin the waveform left and right. There's no circular decks that allow you to really kind of relate it to turntables. You're just looking at waveforms here. It's pretty cool though. I like it. I was using this way before I got into DJ Pro. I was using this as my wedding ceremony and cocktail hour system. I would just load some mixes in here and just let those play while I was doing other stuff, getting ready for a reception or for the actual ceremony. So this is definitely a handy app as well for you to have if you are considering DJing with an iPad or an iPhone, because Tractor DJ, take that back, it does not work with iPhones. I believe it's only on the iPad. Now, if I want to, let's see, let me go back into, let's go into this other DJ apps. Let's pull up Serato Remote. This is another DJ app. This one's a little bit different because it's not actually allowing you to DJ on your iPad. It's just allowing you to add your iPad to Serato DJ setup. So if I was to open up Serato on my laptop, I'm not screen sharing it. right now, but if I were to open it, oh, you know what? I need to be looking at my live stream as well as far as comments. I just get into this and I start talking. But Mix and Mel asks, can this be used with controllers? And actually I did go over that in a way just now. Yes, the controller that I would recommend is the Numark DJ to go. That allows you to control this, but there are other controllers that you can add as well, like the Pioneer, the 200 and the 400, the DDJM 200 and DDJM 400. Those controllers also will work with these the DJ Pro app. It will let you connect it using that camera kit, and it will allow you to control the app as well. So shout out Mix and Mel. Thank you for, popping a question in. I hope it wasn't too far back that you asked that question, but it's a lot for me to be running this and then jumping in between the show statistics. So let's see what else we got. Go here, but actually lost my train of thought. But okay, so Serato DJ Remote. And just like the last couple of weeks, I'm going over a little bit, but I wanted you to be able to see this. So let me pull up Serato DJ. Once the Serato DJ opens up, you'll see that it no longer says, oops, no laptop found. It's going to show you the connection of the laptop that I have running. Boom. My MacBook. So there. This is an app that I use a lot for DJing, not standalone. This has to go in conjunction with your Serato equipment. As you may have noticed, as it was loading up on the other screen, it did give me the little warning that you had to have Serato hardware connected, which I do, which is the Numark Scratch Mixer. And with this, I am able to jump into my library. I can scroll. I wish I could screen share my laptop, but let's see. I can jump. Let's pull up some battle stuff. I can load something there. I can hit some cue points. Yeah, so you can see the screen moving what I'm doing with my turntable. So if I move the turntable, you can see the that happen on the app. You can use this wirelessly. You don't have to be connected directly to your laptop when you have this going. So if I'm at an event, and all you have to do is be on the same Wi-Fi network. So if I'm at an event and I need to run to the bathroom, I can still hit the play button and start a record or whatever, or get a sound going, and control it from here. I control my cue points. So I can control cue points from here. I can go into my sampler from here. I can, hit all those sound effects. I can control my effects from here. All the different, way deeper effects than what you would get in DJ Pro. I mean, I'm a big fan of DJ Pro, but Serato is just a way more robust program for DJing with. And as you can see in this app, it pulls everything up. It gives you your control over your effects, multiple effects, independent effects for each deck. Slicer, I'm not real big user of Slicer, as you can see, because it's disabled because I don't have my beat grids. But you got your sampler, you've got your pads, what are your cue points. You can pull songs and load them over that way. You can see your waveform. So this is a really dope app if you are a Serato DJ and you got an iPad. Just go ahead and look into getting this app. They don't update it very frequently. They don't keep it consistent with all the new features that they have, but the features that are in the app are really dope, and it will really increase or make your workflow a lot better or a lot more efficient, especially if you don't have the bigger mixers. If you don't have S9 or S11 or a 72 or 70 or even a 62 for that matter, if you don't have a mixer with all those extra features built into it, you can use the iPad app to pull up those features, and you have a control over all the important stuff. Like I said, your sampler, your cue points, your loops, your effects, all that is right there. You can see your waveform, and you can go into different views. You can have your cue points, you can have your sampler available. If you're not really worried about looking at the virtual decks because you got that on your laptop screen, you can just come over there and trigger stuff from there. So that is that app. I'm glad I was able to touch on it just briefly, even so, because that's a really big one that I do use frequently when I am making beats. So at this point, we're pretty much at the end of the workshop for today and the end of the series. We've gone over making beats. We've gone over mixing beats up. We've done a lot over these past 4 weeks, and I just want to take this time to once again shout out Fulton County's Board of Commissioners for making this possible, the Fulton County Arts and Culture Department. Don't forget to contact us or contact me if you have any questions. You can see my email address there, djlogic26@hotmail.com. You've got my social media there available, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Definitely hit me up in the comments, and I'll try to answer any questions that you have. I'm going to continue to do different live streams over the course of the future, and I always will continue to still upload videos with the tutorials, product reviews, and even just some random conversations about music, DJing, and creating music in general. So please feel free to subscribe. Please subscribe. Hit the bell if you want to get notifications about when I do upload new videos. I thank you all for tuning in and checking out this workshop. And hopefully we can do some more stuff in the future and just continue to make beats and share ideas. So with that, I'm just going to ride out and let a beat play. I'm just going to let my most recent favorite play, what I started the workshop off with, and we're going to sign out from here. Check back for more information, and y'all be easy. Peace.